What is it? Can't it wait till I get out of the bathroom?
I mean, don't you love me? You walk in here, see me with another man, and just walk on like you don't care. What's wrong with you?
I don't see why that is a problem. After all, you are having fun.
Having fun? What kind of a husband are you? Son of a bitch, still ignoring me, right? You need to pack your stuff and get the hell out of my house right now.
Why? What?
Pack your stuff and get out now.
What did I say? What did
I got a gun for you, right? I got a gun for you. You wait for me. Wait for me right there. Wait for me. My God.
Well, I'm hoping, yes, I'm running, and I'm dying. Well, I'm looking, I'm sliding, and I'm falling. Well, time's moving, and I'm seeing, I'm losing. You know it won't take much.
Kill her ass.
Push me over. It won't take much. Oh, to make me fall.
Get your ass out of here. Be a man.
Please freeze!
And I'm dying.
Hello there, my name is Tommy and I would like to welcome you to African Event Studio. Today I am introducing to you the foremost African filmmakers in the United States who are amongst the pioneers of the Nollywood filmmaking in the diaspora, starting with the movie This America. It was released in 2005 and it remains the first most widely distributed African movie shot in the United States. And we can also say that it triggered the courage for African filmmaking in the diaspora. Well, I think introduction is in order here, so I'd like to introduce to you my guest for today. I'm gonna start with Oliver. Oliver Mbamara is an admin judge in the state of New York, a filmmaker. He's also a director, he's an actor, he's producer. I mean, he wears many hats. We can go on and on about it. I'm going to move on to the gentleman sitting next to him. We have Mr. Felix Nnorom. He's also a filmmaker. He's an actor. He's a director. And he's also an administrator with Common Group LLP. And Felix is also a producer. I mean, all these guys just do so many things. I can go on about what they do. But they're here today because they're filmmakers. I also have Mr. Bethels Agomuoh. He's a telecommunication engineer, a producer also, director, actor, and many more. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for us.
I mean, you can introduce yourself to our viewers, just a little bit more about you and what you do.
Hello, Canada. You know, it's a pleasure to be here. And it's a pleasure to have Canada TV invite us. You know, it's African Canada TV, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thanks to you guys for inviting us. So she's already done the introduction. There's no point going over it again.
All right. Well, I'm gonna just move on to ask you about your movies. I mean, all three of you are filmmakers. So are most of your movies done in the United States or outside the United States?
Okay, we make films in the U.S. and outside, and sometimes it all depends on the story that we're telling. Spade actually was shot in both. No, even Slave Warrior was shot in both Nigeria and the U.S. And of course, Spade was also shot between Nigeria and the U.S. So it all depends on what story we're telling. Sometimes we'll have to travel across the continent to tell the story.
So do you find it more challenging? Shooting this movie, I mean, what is more challenging? Shooting it here, shooting it in Nigeria, or shooting it like, you know, some part of it here and some part of it in Nigeria? What is more challenging?
I think they all have their various challenges in their own ways, you know, because the environment in Nigeria is different from the environment here when it comes to film shooting.
Okay.
You know, there are certain requirements you have to meet to be able to shoot a film here, which you may not necessarily worry about in Nigeria, and there are certain requirements you need to meet in Nigeria that you may not worry about here. So I think it's about applying what each environment demands.
That's
You know,
right.
yeah.
What about you?
True, true. Just to add to what they said earlier, in Nigeria, when you shoot in Nigeria, in terms of moving out the equipment and every other thing, it's a little bit trickish in the sense that, like in US, you have electricity, constant electricity here to shoot. In Nigeria, you have to improvise. You have to do every other thing to make sure that you shoot in the daytime. Even if you're going to shoot in the nighttime, you have to arrange ahead of the time. Make sure you get all the generators and every other thing. And moving stuff to location, that's another headache in terms of transportation. So there's a lot of things that makes it very hard to shoot in Nigeria. But whereas in US, yes, you can shoot, all the stuff is here. But again, everything depends on budget.
Right.
That's the main thing. If you have the budget, the money that you need to shoot, you can do anything. But when you don't have the money, remember, we are all independent filmmakers.
Right.
We have our 9 to 5. Everything we're doing is from our own pocket. So it's really hard.
With money, all things are possible.
Absolutely.
I just want to add that there's something we have in abundance in Africa. The sunshine.
You don't need the lights, right?
Oh, believe me, when you're shooting in US, for instance, if it's you got to water whether it's winter, summer, or
the season.
Yeah, in Nigeria, once it's not raining, you hit the road, and you have abundant sunshine, abundance light, and all that. Yeah. So
And just to add to that, you have to understand one thing, that Nollywood in the US is still at its embryonic stage.
Right.
And Nollywood in Nigeria or Africa, so it's actually already structured. So they have their location managers, they have everything already organized. But here in the US, it's very hard to find certain locations, and you have to pay through your nose. So when you're shooting in Nigeria and you have your crew organized and ready, it's a lot easier sometimes to shoot in Nigeria than shooting here. Because here you have to pay for almost everything. Even in Nigeria you have to pay, however, they're a lot more organized sometimes. Because the industry Nollywood in Nigeria is a lot older than Nollywood in the US right now. Or should I say Nollywood in the West?
Yes, US.
Well, speaking of the places that you guys you shoot your movies, have you ever shot any movie in Canada?
We have not.
Yes.
But I'm sure, actually there are a few films that have been shot, a few Nollywood films that have been shot in Canada. But we have not really shot in Canada.
looking forward to it.
Yeah, exactly. We're looking forward to it.
Invite us Canada, we'll come and make it happen in Canada. We've had a lot about Canada, we'd like to come there and shoot.
Okay, so, but I mean, what do you think of the African movie market in Canada? I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar, even though you haven't done anything there, but you're familiar with, the sales and what is the audience out there. Do you think there's a market for African movies in Canada?
Thank you for asking that question, and it's a very, very good question. Canada is a huge market for the African film industry right now. It's a very, very huge market. The only problem that we have right now is 90% of the movies, African movies that are sold in Canada, are pirated copies.
Wow.
And when you have 95% of the movies being pirated, it makes it very difficult for you to actually come in and do something better. I'm not going to blame anyone right now, because it was like that about 10 years ago in the US.
Yes,
it was almost 100% bootleg copies, but today in the US it's probably 40% original copies and 60% bootleg copies. In Canada right now it's about 5% original copies and 95% bootleg copies. And we hope that when we make the inroad into Canada and start introducing original films, or maybe start replicating the films in Canada, or maybe partnering with distributors in Canada, it will make the distribution a lot better. So right now the films, it's a huge market, because some of us are in marketing as well, and we know how much calls we get from Canada, and then of course we know how much piracy goes on in Canada. But we cannot police the Canadian market.
Yeah, obviously, you need the manpower over there to do that.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to move on and talk about the movie that sort of opened the door to the filmmaking, kind of just brought out the courage for other filmmakers to start making movies in the United States, which is This America. So I want you to tell me a little bit about the movie This America.
Yeah, well, This America was actually based on a story I had written for a novel, which was called Conflicts of an Immigrant, based on some of my experiences and the experiences of my colleagues and every other African out there, the general experiences we have when we come here. it wasn't intended to be a movie at first, but as time went on, we got to a point where Nollywood started becoming the norm, and people, when we had the first time that a group of Nollywood actors came in here, some of them who were our friends said, "Come on, guys, you guys got to do something, put something together," you know.
That
so we
was
said,
in 2004.
yes,
I remember that.
yeah, you know, when all of them came, so you know, they said, "You guys got to do something," and we're like, you know, we do 9 to 5. It's not easy, you know. We can't roll out films like you guys do in
Not
Nigeria. But you know, we after some time we said, you know what? So we came together and we scripted it, you know, and turned it into a movie. And Bethels directed it. Felix did the director of photography, and you know, with me doing the scripting and everything. So we came up and we have that as the film that you now know as This America.
This America.
Yeah.
So how did the movie do generally, as in sales? How did it do?
Well, I would say that This America is probably one of the most widely distributed, or the first widely distributed African movies. It did very well at the time, you know. But you have to understand that in 2004, Nollywood was not what it is today.
Right.
You know, then you'd be lucky if you sold 1,000 copies of a movie. And of course, if you sold one copy of an African movie, then you were okay. You know,
Right.
but these days it's been so bastardized that a copy of Nollywood movie is being sold for next to nothing. You know, because of the influx of people who are bootlegging the movies. You know, so I would say This America did very, very well. And by the way, we're thinking of a relaunch of This America. You know, because we have a sequel that's coming out, which is called On the Run Again. You know, and when On the Run Again comes out, we're hoping that the Nollywood market that's in place today will pick up This America, so we can move both together.
Alright.
And if you haven't seen This America, you need to go pick up.
You need to
copy.
pick it up.
Yes.
So did you release it in the theaters? This America?
We showed it at Tribeca.
Yeah.
Okay,
Festival.
in New York
in
City.
New York,
Okay.
New York City.
We also intend to have it also theater released in Nigeria. We have been putting some modalities in place, but because it's not been finalized, we decided to put it on a hold. But with the coming on of the sequel, which a lot of people have asked for
Yes, they
about,
have.
I remember this lady, I think it's in Houston, who
Yes.
got copies of the first This America. After watching it, said she wasn't going to sell the first copies until we make the sequel. So I mean, we have the sequel. It's ready. It's going to come out soon. But we want to refresh the memories of the Nollywood audience, especially those who were not into Nollywood movies when This America was
came
shot. We're going to refresh their memory by bringing out some of copies of This America again for them, you know, a relaunch sort of. And then we can then bring it on the run again, so that we bring everyone together.
To see all at once.
yes.
I mean, I have to say my father is just like that. He gets really upset when you watch a movie. He's like, Tommy, where's the next part of this movie? Don't bring a movie home if it doesn't have the next part out. So, I mean, I can understand why someone would say, you know, when the movie comes out and the sequel comes out, that's when I want to get it. Because you want to get a full picture of the whole thing. I mean, I got a chance to see This America, and I feel like, you know, just This America by itself is fine. You know, you can get a full sense of what's going on just by watching that movie. But I'm pretty sure the sequel would even be more mind-blowing.
Yes, that's one thing we just to add to that, you know, the idea of breaking movies down into first part, second part, third part. Maybe Bethels is going to talk about the marketing intentions behind why producers do that. But when we came out with This America, that's one thing we specifically wanted to address. We didn't want to break it down into those parts. If we wanted to, we would have made This America broken down that way. But we decided to do the first, do This America and leave it as one whole film that you can watch and know that, okay, this is a whole film.
Right.
We didn't want to make it part 1 and 2. But because the story of the African immigrant is so enormous that you can't put it in one movie,
right.
we are left with people still asking about what happened to Ozodio.
Yes.
You know, what was the immigrant experience? How does it continue? And that's what you're going to see in On the Run Again when it comes out. So look out for it.
Yeah, actually, I received a call today, just a few hours ago. Somebody called me from England and started asking me, where is the second part of This America? Just a few hours ago.
I mean, there's demand there, so you guys need to run with it and give the audience, give us what we want.
Yeah. Well, we're
trying.
Remember that we still have 9 to 5 to attend to.
Hey.
And because there's piracy, so I mean, you guys got to understand what we're saying here, especially those who, I mean, we know you love the movies, but look, if you pirate it, we don't make nothing back. So we're not able to, you see, we have to go get the money together. And that's why it's taking us this long, because we do 9 to 5, get the money together to be able to do the second movie. You know, I mean, This America sold well. I think it was one of the most widely distributed African movies. Of course, when it came out, Nollywood hasn't gotten to the extent it has now. The marketing has grown. Than it,
distributors,
you know. But you know, we love people to encourage us by trying to buy original, come to our premieres, you know, sponsor the movies, get involved, invest in it. We are telling African stories. You know, come with us, work with us, and so that we can tell more of these stories and entertain people, make you happy, you know.
You got to make them happy. You got to make them happy for them to make you happy. I mean, it goes both ways, right?
Exactly.
And I feel like, you know, the African movie filmmaking here in the United States is at such an awkward position, because you're Nollywood, at the same time you're in America, which the filmmaking industry is Hollywood. So can you tell me, has any of the African movies made it to Nollywood, quote unquote? I mean, is it Nollywood? Is it Hollywood? Or are you trying to get to Hollywood? What is the purpose?
Can I take that? Can I take that? Here's something I always say. Nollywood is Nollywood, and Hollywood is Hollywood. Personally, Nollywood is not aspiring to become Hollywood. And I don't think Hollywood is aspiring to become Nollywood. The stories that Nollywood tells totally different from the stories that Hollywood tells. Our stories are true to life. Our stories depict real life situations, and that is why we have such wide audience all over the world. Not just within the African community, it is also acceptable within any other ethnic culture. So Nollywood is Nollywood, and it's going to, personally I think it should remain Nollywood, because the day Nollywood crosses to Hollywood, it has lost its essence. So that's why when we make films, we try to stay within the boundaries that we feel our audience would appreciate. Because most people who watch our movies sit down with their families. You know, they sit down with their families and they watch these movies. And they don't have to worry about fast forwarding or stopping the movie because of the kid who's sitting on the corner.
Actually, you're bringing me to my next topic. Now, you said Nollywood is Nollywood and we don't have to worry about fast forwarding. Actually, these days we have to worry about that, because I noticed that some of the African movies produced, they are quite, you know, sexually explicit. And what do you have to say about that? Let me just throw it out there. What do you guys have to say about that?
Well, I think I just opened up a Pandora box. So, here's what I'm going to say, and I'm going to indict a couple of my colleagues. You know, and guys, I'm indicting you because I'm part of you. Here's the thing: I'm into marketing of African films, okay, and sometimes we've realized that movies coming out of Ghana are being a lot more explicit, sexually explicit, than movies coming out of Nigeria. And we've spoken to a few of these writers, a few of these directors, a few of these producers, and what we've learned is that they just want to make the films acceptable to the American market. Who told you that? You know, what has made Nollywood what it is today is the ability of a family to sit down with the little kids, with the kids, and watch these movies as a family.
Right.
So when you start throwing in those explicit contents, it forces our audience away. Okay, so we're not going to make films. When I say we, I mean we here would never make a film that would force a father or mother or parent to close the child's. I've done it before.
With African movie or with American movie?
I've done it with a few American movies. I'm just starting to do it with a few like African movies. Okay, now there's one thing. When Africa is a huge continent, okay, and when we say African movies, we have to understand that movies are coming from Nigeria, movies are coming from Ghana, movies are coming from Sierra Leone now, movies are coming from Liberia.
That's right.
So I remember years ago in 2004 when we said African movies, it was just Nigerian movies. Okay, and of course Ghana was making movies then, but there wasn't a huge influx into the US. But now there's a serious influx of movies from different parts of Africa. So people are bringing different cultures into the Nollywood industry, and of course, somehow adulterating it. You know, so for the filmmakers who are making sexually explicit movies, we are begging for them to stop.
Please.
All right. Well, with that, I'm gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back with you.
We'll be at the club tonight. With the girls, of course. Yeah, right now we have about 5 of them to choose from.
I have computer arrangements with some buyers coming from Europe.
Ladies and gentlemen, as arranged, we have the best artifact from Africa for you.
Yeah, you guys can move in now and don't leave any traces behind. You got it? Meet me at the club. Come on, you know what the deal is. Is it complete?
It is complete. Trust me.
Just follow him and make sure he gets home safe, okay? If you have any problem on the way, call me and let me know. All right? Come on, bro.
Mama.
Good morning. You made it early.
Yes.
I'm fine, thank you.
So how is the cooking preparations going?
The cooking is almost done. The women stayed all night doing that.
I'm going to miss you.
I miss you too, but it will be for only this night, and we'll have the rest of our lives together, right?
The main suspect has been tracked to Atlanta. He works with an organization involved in human trafficking across Europe and America.
They brought us here from Africa.
What do you mean us?
Myself and some other girls. They brought us here and they told us that we had to sell some artifacts, Adam, for them and service men so as to repay for our visa and our ticket for the flight.
Everything okay?
No, it's not. That pain in the ass of an agent is here.
Spade? That son of a bitch.
You don't seem to be taking your drink.
Oh, I am.
It's your cocoa. The man is trying to educate us.
Educate you? My brothers, there is a thin line between education and brainwashing.
Sorry, brothers. I'm not here to brainwash anyone. I'm here to give you the good news of the Lord.
Get on the next available flight to Nigeria.
Okay, I'll be on it right away.
Good. And be a little bit more cautious. The report is that there's a new wave of discipline amongst the authorities in Nigeria. Don't get in their way.
Man. What I'm worried about is, do you think he's gonna show up at the auction tomorrow?
What are you talking about, man?
Oh, I'm talking about the agent from Africa.
Why would he show up?
I don't know why he show up, but I know he fast as hell.
The agency found them all. My boys are either taken or down.
You need an evangelical deliverance.
Are you looking for someone?
Eh? I'm looking for Zobio, my nephew.
And who are you?
I am Chief Anabaronye. Chief Ubudinamba. Ake Uchonwa Mandoba. AAA. His honorable uncle from Nigeria. These are my flag. Are he in?
Uncle, is everyone okay?
Everyone are okay. But everyone, I think that you are not okay.
Come on, Uncle. That's bull.
Oh, you're calling me bull?
No, I mean...
You have begun to sound like them now.
He lives a minute. Your house is mine. Even everything here. Your wife is my wife.
Don't go there now.
I know you are just like
Don't
me.
mess with my wife now.
I know you don't play with your wife. Even me, you know me. I don't play with my Nancy. You know that?
All right. I hope it's not serious.
Oh, seriously? It's not serious at all.
Yeah? Okay now.
The problem is that my new wife is coming today. I have to rush down here because I need to borrow your car to go and pick her up at the airport.
Chief, this is Maria, my fiancée.
Yeah, wait, my name.
No, my wife to be.
Huh? Who I told you that one? Have you lose your development brain?
So what happened? He left you?
No, I shot him.
It's abomination!
Please calm down. I'm hearing you don't have to shout.
I'm not shouting. I'm telling you what it is. No, hold on.
Bring that.
It's royal magnet.
Please. Okay, tell me softly now.
I'm softly you that you should understand.
Chief, please take your bag. Please. I have to leave now. My meter is running. My meter is running.
Sorry,
I have to leave.
What is your money, my friend? These are honorable Nigerian notes, Naira notes.
What am I supposed to do with Naira in United States?
My financial independence is so important to me. And the good thing, I don't have to take crap from no man.
Wait a minute, who got played?
Mr. Zomio, is this your wife?
Yes, yes.
Very, very marvelous. Very, very surprising.
I just did enjoy, see.
Chief,
Eh?
good morning, sir.
Yes. Good morning, ma'am. Yeah, how are you? Which one are this one here? See myself to there. Which one are this one?
Okay. Alright, nevertheless. You know what?
Just zip up your mouth.
Welcome back. We were on the topic of African movies being explicit. I think we went from the Nollywood, Hollywood thing, the relationship, and I think you were pointing out that our culture is part of what makes our movies.
That's lovely.
And when we take that out, there's no African movies because that's what people look forward to seeing. But is it possible that what you see in these Ghanaian movies that's explicit is actually part of the culture?
Africa, as far as I'm concerned, we're very reserved. We're a very reserved group of people. Sex is sacrosanct. Sex is sacred within the African community. It is not as openly discussed as it is openly discussed here in the West. Okay, so when you show it out in the open like that, it is not an African culture. And I dare anyone to tell me, otherwise. So,
I think just to add to that also is that you see, some people may say, oh, after all, Hollywood has blue movies, adult content and so on. But you gotta understand, there's a difference. Like you started saying, Hollywood is Hollywood, Nollywood is Nollywood. Africa, one of the things we have going for us now is this Nollywood thing.
That's right.
Okay? This is our opportunity to display and share our culture and our heritage. Because Hollywood has other ways of showing their Western culture or Western heritage. Right. So their adult exposure, adult content may be a small percentage of their ability to export their culture. The baseball we hear today, the hat, the hip hop thing, it was exported through in music. You understand? So there are lots of ways that people can express themselves. Now, because Nollywood is one of our little opportunities or the outlets we have to do that, it's important that we try to monitor what we give out there. A lot of people look up to these actors from Nollywood, whether it's Nigeria, Ghana, wherever it is, in Africa, African movies. A lot of people look up to them as models, role models. Now, what are you going to, what do you want the younger generation who are looking up to you, what do you want them to emulate? Do you want them to emulate the fact that you are spreading our culture, that you are sharing our culture, our heritage, how people behave? Or do you want them to share an aspect that a lot of people may be reserved about, a lot of people may not be comfortable about. So that's the point. It's not about whether it's right or wrong. That's not even the way I'm looking at it. The way I'm looking at it is about priority. How do you prioritize what we want to share? Because the filmmaking channel is a very valuable channel for us to portray Africa.
Right.
You know, we
that
have
is the main.
Exactly. For now, I don't think there is any other means that is as vocal and as
conspicuous.
Yes, as filmmaking. So we filmmakers have a responsibility of what we put out there.
Right.
You know, so that's how it is. But having said that, anyway, let me just touch on another aspect of the Hollywood Nollywood thing. Whereas we still maintain that Hollywood is Hollywood and Nollywood is Nollywood. We are not saying that we are not going to emulate the advancement in filmmaking, like technical advancement, cameras, better production, so that we can improve on the quality, the picture, the sound. We do emulate that, and that's one of the things diaspora filmmakers or Nollywood, in the West, Nollywood, USA, whatever we are called. We have a lot of names, you know. So that's what we are trying to do. We're trying to, try to see what we can, how we can take advantage of the technological resources that are available. Yeah. So that you can emulate. And actually in Ghana and Nigeria, there are producers there that are getting these equipments now. And you look at the films now, they have better quality, better sound. But while saying that, I also want to say that I vehemently, disagree with anyone who wants to pan Nollywood or pan Nigerian or Ghana filmmaking for their quality, because you got to understand the culture, the history of this industry before you start panning them, whether it's in Nigeria or Ghana. These people went through a lot to be where they are now. You can't compare Hollywood that started hundreds of years, over 100 years ago, to Nollywood, which started just not even more than 10 years ago, 10 years old.
1992.
We're living in bondage. That was 92, 93.
Yes.
So when people make those comparisons, I was in a meeting once and I had this argument with a Hollywood producer, and that was my argument. The Hollywood producer kept saying we should have better stories, and I said we have good stories in Africa. Our stories are unique. Okay, don't panic because maybe the audio was bad here and the quality was there. Do you know the kind of pressure the producer was going through when he was shooting that movie, or the director or the filmmaker? You gotta understand that before you pan the movie. So I just want to make that difference, to clarify that difference. We want to emulate the good parts, but at the same time, we also want people to know that we are not on the same pedestal. We are thought largest in the world because of sheer effort and positive aggressiveness.
Yes. Just to add on what Oliver and Bethels said again, to our co-producers and directors, one thing they should know is this: the audience, people that watch our movies, are fellow both Caucasians and Caribbeans or African Americans. Through our movies, they learn our culture, they learn what we've been doing. Some of them, when they watch the movie, they start asking, are you sure you have that kind of stuff, those houses in Africa?
Right.
But if we keep on showing them our culture, we get more audience. But whereby we go back and start showing them all those X-rated, like they said, it doesn't work. All right, to the producers and directors, if you want to do X-rated movie, go ahead and do it, and put it SSS.
Right.
And if you want to stick to doing the traditional Nollywood movies, please do so.
So what you're basically saying is that the responsibility of portraying a positive Africa rests in the hands of the producers out there.
Yes. Actually, Oliver said something while one break. There are some A-list actors and actresses who also have to take responsibility for the kind of films they get involved in. An A-list actor has a responsibility to his audience and to his fans. So if you're cast to play a role and you know that this role is going to demean you and your culture, you have the ability to say no, or you can of course change the script, and of course you can tell whoever the filmmaker is to say, hey, listen, can we change this and still achieve your aim? I just shot a film that required a scene where a lady was to be nude. It was shot, but you cannot tell whether she was nude or not. So this is the way we make films and still tell our stories without being explicit.
All right, so the last question I would ask, in connection with Hollywood, have you guys ever had any opportunity to work with a Nollywood producer, or have you ever been invited by any of the not Hollywood filmmakers to work with them?
We're looking forward to it.
Yeah,
let's put it that way.
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, we have at the moment we have one that is going on now. It's been negotiated, you know.
Okay.
So we're looking forward to it, seeing how that's gonna pan out. Sometimes, you know, the difference between also one of the differences in making film in Hollywood and Nollywood is that in Nollywood we are a little bit faster in our pace.
Right.
You know, in Hollywood it could take
A
years,
year.
you know.
Mhm,
So
years.
we've been in negotiation with some Hollywood producers since last year, trying to put
Okay.
something together. So we look forward to that. But until that comes, we are rolling the Nollywood way.
That's right. That's right.
We are content with the ability of Nollywood to deliver. So we'll keep on doing what we like doing. We love doing this.
Your passion.
Yes.
All right. So, do you have any movie in the market right now?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh yes. Both TV series.
Yes.
We have, of course, This America is coming back out. We have
On the
On the
Run.
Run
On
Again.
the Run, yeah.
It's coming back out. We have a movie we shot almost in 1995. This was when Nollywood was still blind. And it's a Mark to Canaan, and it's coming back. And I'm a marketer. We'll have a bunch of films in the market. Of course, Spade is in the market, and Return of Spade is also coming back.
Okay.
You know, I had the chance of looking at the premiere. It was at the premiere in Atlanta, Georgia. You know, it was mind blowing. So Atlanta, hey, big up Atlanta.
Yeah.
So Return of Spade is coming back. Spade is in the market right now. Okay, we just released a few other movies that we are marketing. One is called Royal Command and Contract Execution. These are movies that we're marketing. Okay, they're also in the market. There are a few other movies in the market right now coming out. A few movies coming out. So,
Yes.
about cultures.
Yes, I have to talk about cultures. Apart from doing movies, we also do now. We have branched out to doing certain TV series.
Okay.
Now we have cultures which has up to 18 episodes.
Wow.
You know, that we have just concluded.
Wow.
We're looking out for marketers also in that
Okay.
aspect. We're going to show it both in Nigeria, worldwide. So we're looking for marketers who are available. Just give us a call.
And would that be going to DVD also, or would that be like on air on TV?
Yeah, well, we are discussing with some TV stations at the moment.
Okay.
To get it on television
and cable also.
Yes, on cable. So once it gets there, and so after some episodes have been shown, then we can also start doing DVD distribution. But you can check out the preview at culturestvseries.com. Okay, culturestvseries.com. You'll see the preview we have there. We're going to be putting up more previews on that website. But check it out. It's interesting. One of our lead characters there is Chief Zebediah, as they call him in New Masquerade, who's been the foremost comedian in Nigeria for over 25 years. So it's a wealth of experience. We were very glad to have worked with him. Look out for it. It's laughter galore. That's all I have to say. It's laughter galore. We just couldn't stop laughing while we were shooting it, and you can imagine what those who are not there will do when they see it. So look out for it. Cultures TV series.
So was that shot here or in Nigeria?
It was shot here
Oh,
because it takes the humor from Nigeria and brings it to the to the immigrant environment. Every immigrant will identify with the humor. The story.
Can I go to just say that it's the first series of Nollywood, shot here in America? I'm not allowed to say that.
That's true. That's true.
I mean that's a wonderful thing. I can't wait to see it. I think I'm just gonna do one more topic because we can be here all day talking about Nollywood. It's a lot to talk about, and this is like the heated topic. So let's talk a little bit about piracy.
Oh, yes.
In America, and we're gonna make this as short and straight to the point as possible because I know we can go on forever.
Let me get ready.
Yes.
Let me take this.
Okay.
You know, when I talk about piracy, I indict people who are buying the pirated copies. Because if there is no market, there will not be piracy. You know, every day we struggle to make films. We go bankrupt trying to make films. And every day you sit down and you enjoy these movies and you don't even ask, how are they making this money? You know, it's easy for you to get out there and say, oh, I can get it 29 cents from the other store. How would you like someone getting into your pocket and dipping their hands into your pocket and stealing money from you? Because if you're buying pirated copies, you're stealing money from other people.
That's right.
You know, piracy is not about the person who's providing it. It's about the person who's buying it. You know, so it's cost us money. If a Nollywood movie sold 10,000 copies, it's actually sold 100,000 copies. Because out of every 10 copies that are made, the filmmakers have lost money. And if we continue to lose money, you will no longer have the ability to watch these movies. So I'm not indicting people who are making the copies. I mean, they're indicting themselves, but the person who's buying it is who I'm indicting. So it's a very, very touchy topic for us. And short of becoming violent and picking up a machete and actually...
Oh, no, we don't want to do that. No.
We wouldn't want to go
You
that
know,
far.
so in as much as we don't want to do that,
Yes.
you know, we're appealing to the people who are watching these movies to say to the man who's selling to them, stop, I'm not buying it. If you don't buy it, they won't sell it to you. That's the bottom line.
My advice to everybody out there, buy original. Buy original, that's what you ask.
It's only $5. In fact, I mean, I think they've even gone down on the prices these days because they're trying to fight piracy.
Thank you very much.
So, I mean...
And you know, there used to be a time when we worry about people just copying it on DVD. But piracy has actually gone beyond that now.
It's now online.
You know, it's now online. There are people who, for their own various reasons, decide to take other people's labor, put it out there for free for others to consume without paying for it. I'll give you an example. Some of the African movies that are being released today, when you release a movie today, in 2 days, you see it being streamed online by someone. Maybe because he thinks or she thinks whoever is doing these things, they can get away with it, so they just stream these movies. Now, the interesting thing is that when you go to the African stores, the sales rate of that particular movie may be like 2,000, 3,000, but online you have 50,000 views, 60,000 views, 80,000, 100,000 views within a week. That means that there are people who really want to consume this content. People want to watch it, but they don't want to buy the hard copy. Just like Bethels pointed out, you know, they say it takes two to tango. If the person is selling and you're not buying, he won't have the resources to continue doing that or the encouragement to continue doing that. If somebody is streaming and you're not watching, it's just, I mean, I know people may want to watch some, I mean, some people like free stuff, but, you know, look, if you really want us to keep on doing what we are doing, you know, help buy original. If you want to send us home, then okay, all right. If you think we should pack and go,
if you don't care about the African movie industry,
you know. And one more thing, just one more thing is that one more thing is people used to say before that, oh, we can't find it, that's why we go and we buy it bootleg. But now every filmmaker usually has a website.
That's correct.
Okay, like we talked about Spade. If you go to spademovie.com, you will see the movie. You know, you talk about most of it. We have, some of us are into marketing. You know, we have africamovies.com, we have nollywoodmovies.com, we have spademovie.com, we have culturestvseries.com. These are websites. If you know about a new release and you want to really buy original, there are lots of ways to reach the filmmaker. Facebook, MySpace, Tweet, website. Just do a search on the internet. Google the person, Google the filmmaker, Google the name. Buy original.
Buy original. And also, not only movies and other stuff we do, we also do music. We also produce music. We have helped some artists, unknown artists, now they're well known. So we have new ones coming. So by this time next year, all the at least we have 2 artists.
Is there a website where people can find out more information about this, other things that you do?
Yes.
Yes. Oliver has given out the website.
I can give it again.
Yes.
Africamovies.com. Not African. Africamovies.com. Don't put an N. N means please. So africamovies.com.
Yes.
Okay. Nollywoodmovies.com. You know Nollywood, just add movies to it. Nollywoodmovies.com. Then if it's a film, if it's like Spade, you can get on spademovie.com. Slave Warrior, you can get on slavewarrior.com. We have culturestvseries.com. culturestvseries.com. Some of our artists like Lady Gold, you can find her on
Lady Gold Music. From Golden Studio, Lady Gold Music.
Golden Studio Inc. GoldenStudioInc.com.
Yes.
Yes, GoldenStudioInc.com is where you can also get some information. And of course, AfricanEvents.com, as you know, is the affiliate of African Event Studios.
Anytime anything is happening in any of these websites, you can get it connected and get information on it on africanevents.com.
You'll have a list of all this website after this interview.
Sure. We'll put it on the screen.
We'll have it on the screen. So I just want to thank you guys for coming out today. I want to thank you for your time for this interview. It's been a pleasant one. And I'm going to repeat what they said. Buy original movies. Thank you. Thank you, Canada.
Thank you.